Mm. Hmm. All right. Let's make sure we're good here. I figured out how to uninstall it. So we can get this to work. For some reason, ever since I downloaded this vertical streamer extension, I haven't been able to get my webcam to not lag, which is really annoying. Hey Mod, how's it going? Alright, let's try this again. Here we go. Okay, now let's try to start Twitch. Alright, Twitch is started. We already started Twitch. We're good on Twitch. Twitch is going. Twitch is going. Twitch is going. No lag, no lag, no lag. Okay, I think we're good. Oh my gosh, screaming kids. I can't even open my windows. Screaming kids, so annoying. All right, I think that is good. Okay, I got the chat here loaded up. Can't even open my windows. Screaming kids, so annoying. Okay, let's turn off that. Sorry. We'll turn off the echo. My bad, guys. My bad. All right, here we go. I think we're good though. Yo! All right, here we go. All right, hello everybody. We are back. We are live. Okay, so I deleted that plugin. I downloaded a multi-stream plugin for trying to figure out how I could get potentially like accessed onto YouTube Shorts. Sorry. So I was trying to see if I could tap into the YouTube Shorts page, and in order to do that, I was doing some research. Is you have to stream in 9:16 versus 16:9. So I found this plugin where I could stream an alternate canvas, but I think it's because I'm also having the Twitch multi-stream and the YouTube stream original, it's just too much. So that being said, I really would like to Twitch stream to the YouTube Shorts page as well because, dude, let me tell you, those doom scrollers, they know how to rack up the views on the YouTube Shorts page. Hey, Daily Scripts. Hey, Tim. Welcome in, you guys. How's it going? Sorry I've been gone the past couple days. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. I've been pretty lazy. I am susceptible to it, just like everybody else. Man, it's so easy after a long week of work to just want to play some Counter-Strike and watch YouTube videos and eat food after going grocery shopping on the weekends and just take a nap. It's so easy to veg, dude. But we need to keep going. We need to keep grinding. We got to keep going. Oh, dude, we've got to keep going. Like, there's no other choice. But I just feel like, I don't know. I need some, like, I think I just need a project that I like care about and I'm passionate about to keep my motivations high, right? So when we were building like SpectroSim and ChromaPlot and all that jazz, those were really fun because I was pretty passionate and I was like showing up really, I was coming back in every single day and trying my best to like get that done. But dude, this summer, man, it's lazy summer. It's lazy boys summer. Let me tell you, right, AJ? Hey, Ahmad, how's it going, dude? I've been feeling the same. Yeah, me too, AJ. It's been a lazy summer, man. I don't know what it is. I really think AI is it's the AI summer. It's been it's been having its toll on everybody. AI summer. AI is having its hot girl summer right now. What have you guys been building? So let me know some of your guys' goals. I think that'll help if we share some goals we have. Like, let me know your goals that you have for your programming and computer science learning this summer to wrap up the end of the summer. If you guys are here, Daily Scripts, Arya, AJ, Ahmad, Tim, let's throw a like on the stream. Let's keep going. We're almost to 2,800. We probably can hit it tonight if we're lucky. So, yes. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into this. One second. All right, let's get into today's stream. So I'm actually really excited. I have some ideas of what I'm thinking and wanting to do and starting a new project. And I wanted to discuss that with you guys today, but boy, oh boy, is it hot, dude. Bay Area, no AC apartments for $2,000 a month is just insane. Yeah, let's charge $2,500 a month for an apartment, but let's give no AC. Yeah, makes sense to me. Not that you would use the AC anyways here in the Bay Area. PG&E would charge you $1,000 to run your AC. Piece of crap. What is this? Okay. Hey Arya, hello, what's up guys? My goal is developing my coding skills. I've got some projects I've been on my devlog so far. Nice, dude. Link your devlog. Let's check it out. Mike's going on Madden. No, at 3,000 subs. So at 3,000 subs, we're gonna do a Counter-Strike stream. We'll probably do one before then, but we'll have like an official 3,000 sub Counter-Strike stream where we'll open up like, you know, some cases and have some fun and give away some of the skins to everybody. I want to give back to you guys, and I think it'll be fun to give away some Counter-Strike skins that we unbox on stream. So make sure you guys are subbed along for that. And yeah, okay, let's go get into the project today. So I want to discuss with you guys, and I want to have an open discussion about this new project and what's going on. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's turn down the tunes a little bit and let's talk. Yeah, we got Miss Kitty in the background joining us. Okay, so I want to talk about our new project. So it's not like a new project or anything. It's mainly something that we've been working on in the past, or that we. So let me actually go ahead and open up michaeldeming.com here. If you guys are familiar, on our resume, we are claiming software engineer experience. We do claim software engineer experience here because we did work closely with a company, Birdie Rose Clothes. We are hired as the software engineer contractor for Birdie Rose Clothes, their founding engineer. We're hired as their founding engineer for their business, which is kind of funny because I'm kind of the chief technical officer of Birdie Rose Clothes, so a little bit of stat padding going on, but hush hush. Anywho, I think it's fun and funny. Anyways, we're gonna come back and revisit Birdie Rose Clothes here and do some more software on them. So Birdie Rose Clothes is the business that me and my girlfriend run. It's my girlfriend's business primarily, as it wouldn't really be able to function without her primarily. So what it is that it is a resale or a rehome company for vintage clothing, and not in a typical way of, you know, like you would see a lot of these other types of, influencers or people that do, vintage online stores for clothing. Honestly, our business model is a little bit unique in the fact that we really pride ourselves on just trying to find these really nice pieces of clothing a new home, rather than trying to resell. We rather rehome pieces and try to do that, because if you guys really break down the statistics of clothing and the disparities that it puts on the world in terms of the economics and environments, clothing and the clothing industry is one of the largest contributors to the pollution and waste in the world. It's probably close. I don't know the statistics, but it's got to be like top 10, but or something like that. It's got to be huge. So part of our business model, helping in that aspect, is that we rehome these vintage clothing, because we find there's a need. People enjoy and like vintage clothing. It is fashionable. It's fairly cheap. It's but also it has like a kind of a unique feel to it compared to modern fast fashion, better quality, stuff like that. As well as there's kind of been like a lot of like increased hype and demand for this kind of line of clothing over the past few years, which has helped our business greatly. So what we currently do is, I guess I really don't know where to start. I'm not a businessman. I don't have an MBA. My dad was an accountant. My dad is a businessman. My dad does have a master's of accounting and business administration, like, or business management or whatever. And so he does, and he ran his own accounting firm and employees and LLCs and all that jazz. And so I can't go to him for some advice, but I don't know. I would like to try to figure things out, and I think it'd be fun to try to figure things out here as we go. So I wanted to try to let's go over our business model and what it is exactly. So I already mentioned that it is a mainly like a vintage rehoming store, and it particularly focuses on women's fashion at the moment, because that's just what my girlfriend's knowledge is in, primarily is in women's fashion, women's vintage fashion, and Y2K, early 90s, sometimes 80s and below, if people, if the demand is there. So that being said, sorry about my ramble, we're getting to the point, but like the what makes us unique in terms of from our competitors, because there's lots of competitors, there's lots of people that mom and pops in their stores or in their homes, in their garages, that do the same type of model. But what kind of sets us apart from them is our pricing, and is that model of that environmental eco-friendly kind of mindset. Whereas instead of trying to really flip a profit, we kind of more view it as not a non-profit, but more of our main goal is to just kind of be more sustainable, and whatever profits we make on top of that is just kind of a cherry on the top, because the main purpose of the business is to subsidize my girlfriend's hobbies, right? So my girlfriend was spending a bunch of money on vintage clothing that she would wear, over and over and over again. And yes, it was, or she would wear a piece, and then it would sit in the closet for a little while, and then she would wear it again, every once in a while. But it really, wasn't really worth the amount of volume that she was taking up. Like, she would have to wear the pieces all the time, but because it was more of a hobby, and I totally get it. Like, you're shopping as like a hobby, especially vintage. It's definitely better than retail sales. So a lot more expensive. So I created this business for her to subsidize her hobby and to allow her to gain some sort of income, against just burning the money away on whatever. So she's able to curate the clothes if she wants to. She'll wear them, take pictures in them, go out in them, get some content in them. They are pre-loved clothing, so there isn't really a problem with wearing them, as long as they keep them clean and like wash them and everything, and make sure they're appropriate for customers and stuff. They are pre-loved secondhand clothing. So, and then she can sell them when she's kind of done with them, or sometimes she'll wear a piece once and sell it, or sometimes she won't wear it at all and sell it, and just make it just for a sale, an item to sell. So, I have to go grab my laundry out of the dryer real quick. So let me turn on my 5-minute timer. I'm going to play a video actually. I was watching this Primogen video. I thought it was so funny, and I want you guys to watch it too with me here. We'll watch it here as we get started for Sunday. I think it'd be fun. What was it called? It was about the developer that got like 4 or 5 jobs at once and was just scamming startups. It's so funny. Let's go ahead and watch this. Let's catch up on some chats here. Is this the same cat or do you have multiple? Yeah, it's the same cat. I only have one cat. One cat, one dog. Tim, can you explain how the small business manager business works? What infrastructure is their website, social media, app, etc.? Yes, Tim, that's what we're going to get into. So I'm going to explain kind of our current marketing strategies and how we're going to expand this out to potentially be a more kind of tech-based company, honestly, in my opinion. Now, I think it does have some feasible abilities to grow and potentially profit quite well because of A, our models, B, our creativity and our hard work, and kind of my abilities to kind of come up with things that are pretty creative and unique in terms of marketing kind of does help stand out from other companies in the area. I'm able to like make logos and really use my skills to that nature all in-house. We don't have to outsource anything. My girlfriend's also very creative on those lines. So it also helps. So we'll get into that in just a sec. Just try stuff on Try Hack Me, and yeah, it feels very refreshing after encountering various bugs, talking to my friends in this area. Yeah, we tried hard in college for sure, but let me tell you, we could have gotten just cum laude if we didn't get senioritis. Let me tell you, dude. My last semester of college, dude, I did what I had to do just to get it done. I definitely went down a couple of points, on my GPA that last semester, but it's okay. Right now, my big game of development will be released in August 17th. You will fish for rare fish and sell the fish with rods. That's cool, dude. Fishing games are really hot and fun. Kind of like a niche, like really kind of cool indie niche fishing type of games. I think that's a really good idea. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll pop up on my bathroom message real quick. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to play this Primogen video, though, because I think it's hilarious. Where'd it go? There we go. I want to start it out at the hour mark. I was about an hour in. So I was watching this video. I'm about an hour in, so sorry. I started it early. I was watching it while I was doing my laundry. They're interviewing this one startup founder is re-interviewing someone that he let go in the past because he was scamming them, working multiple startups at the same time and not producing any work, but just like faking commits on GitHub and stuff. So watch this while I go grab my laundry. I'll be right back, you guys. This is pretty funny. I'll keep my headphones. I don't think I'll be able to hear it actually, but yeah.
It's not sufficient time to like make an understanding around where the person is in the process and things like that. um and for people who have known me, like founders who have known me for sufficiently long period of time, they would like vouch that I was delivering more than just like meaningful engineering hours in terms of what I was building for them. So I would say like the bucket of founders is also like divided in terms of like people who
Then why did you get fired?
Yeah.
This just once again literally can't be true. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
There's more stories
Like, we
of him
know-
getting fired than there are of
Be right back.
like for every hired story. It seems like there's an equal opportunity fire story every single time.
Well, we don't even need. It doesn't have to be like that. It's literally if he's saying I never worked more than 3 or 4 jobs at a time, and he's saying he has a bunch of stories of founders who liked working with him, then why is he not just at those 4 companies?
Oh yeah, simple logic.
Right, because then he would have just gotten maxed out, and then it would have been fine, and he would have stayed there and kept working at those 4 companies, and everyone would have been like happy, right? Like if someone is clear with their moonlighting or whatever and never makes any promises about it, he would have just got filled up. Everybody's happy. No, he doesn't. He never gets fired, and the founders vouch for him as being, yes, we love having you here. That's why you're not fired. But that didn't happen, so that part doesn't make sense.
Spend meaningful time with me versus kind of like not spend meaningful time with me. But I think it just like there is no like pattern as such that I can think about. I think it just comes down to like hey, like, do you think that I'm able to like deliver value in the time frame that I'm there?
Dude, that's so crazy to say to somebody who you scammed. Like, I'm trying to be fair in this, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to present like a fair thing. But dude, you're on the call with a founder who risked his first time company to get you in and send you a bunch of money. And you're like, well, founders who knew me knew that I could deliver value.
Yeah, but that guy just fired you. The guy you're talking to let you go.
Yeah, man, dude.
Because I haven't gone through any of this yet. My first opinion about this was like, this was kind of like a crazy story in the sense that he just got hired a bunch to try to like just scam quick money. But the secondary sell of it is actually like such a crazier story to it, where he's like, actually, you're the only one that didn't get it. Like, everybody else loved me. Like, dude, I was beloved. It's just you. Like, it's a you
my
problem.
other girlfriends say I'm a great boyfriend.
Dude,
All
it's
my
crazy.
other girlfriends love me so much.
This is actually so shocking. I was not ready for this turnaround. That statement was one of the most bold statements I've ever heard in my lifetime, to say that everybody, like, if the founders that I really worked with, that I spent some significant amount of time with. Well, by the way, what's significant when you're working 4 to 5 jobs?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nice.
What's one thing that you?
Well, he's been. I mad props to this guy. Like, he's being so cordial, taking the high road on this and everything. Like, big props to him.
Yeah, I know. I'm laughing
Seems like
about
he'd be
the
a great
nice
guy to
because
work for.
Yeah, I'm laughing about it because it's funny, because you can tell that he's holding back. And so instead of saying like what he really is feeling in the moment, he just says like a filler word just to avoid being like, you know what, F you, buddy. Right?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, cool.
Great.
Good answer.
Cool.
Okay.
Next question. Yeah. Yep.
I'm able to like deliver value in the time frame that I'm there.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's one thing that you? I know part of the conversation that we had this morning. I sort of just like I went in and I shot you a text, and I was like, yeah, you're probably getting bombarded by millions of people right now. Is there anything that you would like to just let everyone know about the whole situation? I think that there's a lot of narratives flying around, and I personally have my own opinions and narratives that I've heard from me and my founder friends who have either interviewed you or God forbid hired you at some point. But what's something that what is the thing you'd like to tell everyone here that I think people might be very interested in hearing?
Yeah, I mean, just to come out clean, right? Like, there's a lot of like mixed comments on the platform. Some of these are like around things that are legit. Some of these are not.
I'm back.
So I think a couple of
Isn't
things
this
that
crazy, you
want
guys?
to address is, first, I think there was like a lot of like commentary around like, hey, like he's probably using some sort of system to game the interviews, or he's using
Let's listen to this for a little
I
bit.
don't know, like he's fabricating things. I don't like there's like a varying degree of like comments around like how I was able to like get into these interviews and actually like be able
So
to
for those that are
manage
just
to
popping in here,
go beyond that.
there's this interview with this guy that was working 3 or 4 startup jobs at the same time. And he was, I'm not sure like if there's any conflict of interest going on, but then he was also like just like scamming his GitHub commits and stuff as well. And so he was raking in like 30, 40, potentially even like $50,000 a month in salary positions across multiple startups. He admitted to having at one point having like pretty much not at once, but has collected over 30 jobs in like almost a year, right? So either got hired and then dropped from and cycled in and out of 30 different jobs.
You interviewed me when I was at Nomec. Our interview was not like something
30
that you could
different
game,
startups.
essentially, right? Like
It was in person on a whiteboard. Yep.
Yeah, and I think for most other companies too, like it was around the spectrum of like somewhere similar to like ours, basically, like where probably in person.
In-person
but, you know,
interviews on the whiteboard,
like,
you
even
still
if it was
passed
remote, it
all
was like
these
a very
places.
open-ended question, not really something that you can get from a textbook or like, you know, just like lead code your way through, or, you know, like work trials or like you know, take home assessments, all of which like I did, and all of this was like, you know, before like GPT. I would say like
Just shows
Copilot
how
was.
poor managers are
Here's my
treating
fundamental
employees.
problem with what
I have no issues with the superstars that are doing 2 or 3 at a time and really providing more value than expected. Bro, what does he have? 40 different laptops on Teams? Yeah, bro, imagine getting like, because a lot of the times they don't even want the computer back afterwards, right? So you have 40 just bricked or 30 bricked MacBook Pros from like whatever it is, like protection lock. Just
what he's saying
what?
is that I can believe nothing he says now.
Isn't that so
Right,
funny?
like he's saying he does all these things that are honest and all these
So
things. Like maybe
crazy.
yeah, he
Devs
did do a great
can't
job
even
with
get
that
one
one
job.
person
This
on
guy's
that,
the
but
interview pro.
you know, and then he's saying, but he did truthful work on the take home. Why would I believe that? Right, like how could I possibly like this
Yeah,
whole
you can't
notion
believe
that you
anything
only
he
cheat
says
in one
anymore.
realm and you cheat at nothing else is a lie? Because typically, you know, like
It's
people who
crazy.
do something that would be considered, you know, more on the sinister side of things. It's not like this. Oh, I only steal, but I steal in this very narrow subset. It's just like that usually grows and grows.
So the thing that they mentioned earlier that you guys missed out on, that I was listening to earlier, is that he still had to sometimes report in person, and so he would fly from India to the United States for these period of time, and then just like all the other companies, just I guess couldn't get any work done. Like he like, how do you juggle this?
Grows
No
and grows
way,
and grows until
dude.
something bad happens, and it's always the same kind of behavior where it just multiplies until eventually
This is
that's
one of the
all you are
crazier
as a
stories
cheater.
I've heard
And
about
so I
like
am
this
a
recent
little hard
employment
pressed to
process.
believe that this guy is just virtuous in all behavior except for in defrauding people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year, if not a million.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you put one part of your workflow in NeoVim, all of a sudden, it's your whole personality. You know what I'm
True.
saying? It's like it's just gonna keep growing. So you got
Yeah.
a similar vibe here with this. It is though. Like, yeah, it's very.
Well, yeah, for sure. They were talking about it earlier, right? Think of like a startup. Like a startup maybe only gets like 1.5 million, 2, right? So if you have an engineer that you've allotted 180,000 to salary and he scams you for 6 months, right? That's almost like, 3 to 5% of your budget as the startup, right? And think of it, they also mentioned that if you as a founder are giving up equity and then that equity in return, that money in return is then being scammed, dude, you're just getting destroyed as a founder, like just completely obliterated.
very hard to believe
If
him
you
on
gave up
anything else
equity
because
for the
it
money.
wasn't just that he was working at other jobs. He was literally making up crazy stories and holding those lies for the entire employment. A bomb went off.
So I don't think he was getting visas. I think he would just have to report occasionally in person, like for maybe like a meeting every now and then, like as if like it was like 99% remote or something. And I really don't know. It's so crazy.
Off next to my house. That's a real story. He tried, assuming that everybody on this side is telling the truth about the thing. I mean, they got screenshots and they got other stuff, and they're like founders of real companies. So,
Sorry, I'm keep pausing, but because also think about all the other like VCs or other companies then that aren't gonna really trust this founder anymore and his judgment for hiring this type of dev,
I mean,
right?
hypothetically, that didn't happen, right? I mean, I can
Nice,
say, but like,
Daily.
if
That's
all
what you
that
gotta be
stuff is
doing.
true, it's not
That's
like,
it right
dude,
there, Daily.
You just got caught in this situation working 3 jobs. You were fabricating big things the entire time.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional manipulation.
Get from a textbook or like, you know, just like lead code your way through, or, you know, like work trials or like you know, take home assessments, all of which like I did, and all of this was like, you know, before like GPT. I would say like Copilot was still there,
Leave a
but,
like
it
on
was
stream
very
if you're
new.
liking the reaction stream.
So you would have to be like a really, you know, like you'd have to know what you're doing essentially to be able to get through that. So that was one thing. The other kind of like, you know, narrative that I'm seeing a lot kind of go around is people saying that I've hired a dev shop, or, you know, I was like hiring 20 interns and paying them.
I can attest you're probably not doing that. You would have been a lot more productive if you were.
Holy cow, dude.
Bro, no! Oh my gosh, burn! That was so brutal. Oh, they probably wish you were hiring a dev shop because you would have gotten work pushed.
Oh, you really
Okay,
got him with that one.
There you go. So it sounds like he was not, in fact, productive as previously claimed.
I thought if founders knew him for long enough. That's
Yeah.
like, dude, that is such a crazy. I mean, like, it's a legit burn because it's like your
Right.
productivity completely fell off. That's the thing. That's why he's getting fired.
Basically like around, like I was working at 20 companies together at the same time. Again, that's not like humanly possible. I'm not sure, like I think people probably like mixed around like 20 at the same time versus like 20 companies in total. In like at a given
Holy
point in
cow.
time, I was probably working like between 3 to 4 companies, but not more than that.
What's the maximum you worked at the same time?
Probably 4.
Probably 4.
Okay, so that doesn't line up.
How can.
It doesn't line up. Like, you can't work at 4 companies at max and do an average of a year
Bro.
and have 20 to 30
This
companies.
is one of the
over course
craziest
of 4
things
years.
you've seen
So
in a
that's just
while.
mathematically not possible.
Also, how can you say probably?
Probably.
What is the world where you don't know
You don't
the
know?
maximum number
Yeah.
of places you've
If
been
he said
employed at?
probably, add like 3 or 4. Like, if he said probably, multiply it by 0.25x, right? It takes weeks to get accustomed to code base. Yeah, like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were all American companies based in the Silicon Valley area.
At the same time. That's like, I couldn't count that high. Is where like,
Yeah.
probably 4?
He might be exaggerating,
I haven't
but
even thought about the
no.
problem.
So a bunch like this founder over here, this guy Andre or whatever, he kind of did some investigative work and really tried to get to the bottom of this, and I think took some of his engineers to like do some digging into this guy, and they kind of like did some CIA digging on them, and got into contact with some other founders, and they put it all together like that so they went over it in the beginning. Watch the first hour. I'm coming in. I've already watched the first hour, and we're coming in at the hour mark. But in the first hour, they give a lot more information about like the background, like the founders coming together to figure out that this guy was wrecking them.
Probably part. That is
Probably 4 is insane.
Would it be fair to say, like,
Yeah, C++
with
been
working with
trying
4
to-
companies at the same
probably
time,
gonna
you're
get
really
into
bringing
that
back
soon.
like 50K a month?
No, it was not 50.
I would like to build a low latency like guitar amp simulator, like try to recreate like a vintage amplifier, like what is it? It's not solid state. It's what's the vintage amplifier SSL? No, tube. It's tube, right? Yeah, tube amps. So I would like to get into C++ to try to because you need some lower latency on like the hardware level, right? On like the driver level to, take these inputs from guitar and then create some filters and like create like try to recreate a old tube amp sound would be kind of fun. That is one of my goals.
50K a month.
Was it more?
It was way less.
Okay.
No, it was
Oh, bro, the bathroom text is still on this whole time. Come on, y'all. You guys gotta remind me sooner than that. It's been like 20 minutes. It's been like 20 minutes. I'm in the bath. Oh my god. How'd I not notice that this whole time?
Cool.
Yeah, I would say like the higher spectrum of what I was getting paid in is around like 165, or 180, something like that.
Bruh, Anand, you got it, man.
There's
That's
that
tough, bro.
probably again.
Break out the spreadsheet.
At least you're getting them, man. At least you're getting
Break
them.
out the spreadsheet. Let's go back to the spreadsheet.
Got it.
He says probably 4. Okay, we've discussed probably. Maybe that's 4.5. I don't know what probably 4 means.
Probably 5
And
or
he
6.
said the max is 165 or 180. So definitely 180.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do
All right.
one of them as one. We'll do one of them.
He was
as
definitely
180.
negotiating for the higher band,
Yep.
right?
And then the other ones we can do 130,
70.
135, something like this. You know what I mean?
don't even
right?
need
Like-
to. I'm gonna do 75.
75K?
Because the rest he was just a broke boy at, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Could not afford the chips or
Yeah.
the cookies. What was it?
Yeah, yes, it was the cookies. You got it. He was on for it. So even it was 75 on the other ones, it's still above
Which is
33,000. Yeah.
He's not getting paid $75K for founding engineer. He said the role that he takes is founding engineer
Yes.
at a YC-backed or similar style
25
company.
racks a month. 26 racks a month, dude. Oh my god. That's actually like life-changing amounts of money. If you really think about it, like in terms of the general population, right? It's not for the 1%, but for the general population, 25K a month is life-changing money. 26 grand a month. Like think your rent is covered at what? 5%, maximum 10%. And then you have other expenses, another 10%. Your DDI is per month is 20% debt to income. You could qualify for any loan in the United States, any house.
No one is paying founding engineers
That's not obviously
75K
crazy.
at YC. Nobody is paying that. That is way too low. Put
Yeah,
in 100
and he's
at
still
least.
and his excuses was he still was short on change by distributing it out money to his family and taxes in Mumbai.
Okay, I'll put it. I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying that when he says these things, so even at 100
Right.
on all of them except for the one that for whatever reason was 180, even that is at 40,000. So like we know
That's
he is
close to 50.
yeah, and we
That's-
know
that
that
is
it's
not way
probably
less,
more than
yeah.
100. We know
Yes.
that it's probably more than 100.
So that just does not add up.
I mean,
But-
for companies making anywhere between 140 and 180 will get you somewhere around 50K in total.
But that's the max.
Yep.
Not all of them pay the same way.
Got it.
Um,
Really cool.
Yeah, I had to preface that outside of
when it
California
comes to
and New York, I'd say.
What you're
Maybe
sort of
Seattle
doing
area.
next.
You could probably get any
I
house
definitely
outside
had
of
some screenshots sent to me, just like yesterday
maybe
and
not
today,
Florida
of
too. We'll
companies that
leave
you're
off
still
anything
either
out of a coastal
interviewing
range.
with
You
or
can get a
actively talking
house.
with, like even
If there's not
as-
an ocean, if there isn't an ocean within 3 hours, you can get a house.
even as late as yesterday evening. I'm kind of curious. Are you still working a couple roles that haven't?
Oh, is he
aren't
still
on
doing
Twitter
it?
and haven't heard about the so humming?
I would be curious to know.
So
who is
humming,
working
is that
with,
what-
because I am not interviewing with anyone else.
It's like Watergate
I've only been working with
in the
one
tech
company, which is
company.
Darwin. I in fact spent like the entire day yesterday with the founder Sanjit, in terms of like trying to make decisions on like working together. So, it's
2
it's
trillion in India. Yeah, what is
drastically,
the Indian
uh,
exchange
surprising
rate?
to
What
me
can
that,
you get in
someone
Mumbai
essentially claimed that I was
for
interviewing
25
with
grand a
them, like,
month
yesterday.
USD?
Just a
Federal Reserve
clarifying
notes,
fact:
right?
is he working with Darwin at all at this point? If I'm not mistaken, didn't they back away from him as well and just like delete the tweets with him and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so there was a tweet,
Like,
because
even if he is like a good engineer, like you cannot trust him anymore. Like it's just like a lack of trust. It's like a proprietary thing at this point, like a confidentiality thing. Like you'll never be able to like know for yeah.
he deleted
Right.
his tweet for it.
Nobody really claimed it. I saw a screenshot. Okay. I guess one other thing that I kind of had in mind is like, I have some idea of the circle of companies around me that in New York City.
Thanks
that
for
you
the
kinda-
follow on
kinda
Twitch.
interacted
I really
with.
appreciate that.
Would you be able to
Who
just
is that?
rattle off the top of your head the list of companies you work with?
Yeah, I'd probably say like Nomec, Anti-Metal, obviously. This is New York, right?
Just all the companies.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
Dude, it's crazy that he's like, which city are you wondering about?
Yeah, dude, which city? That's
Companies
crazy.
around me that in New York City that you kind of interacted with. Would you be able to just rattle off the top of your head the list of companies you worked with?
Yeah, I'd probably say like Nomec, Anti-Metal,
Which
obviously.
city do you want? Which major metropolitan area? This guy is a pro. Yo, Anand, you have to reach out to this guy for interview prep. If that's where your bottleneck is that they interview you, this guy will help you. Anand, this is it. Anand, this is it. This is it. We found him. Yeah, he's basically committing fraud for sure. I wonder, like, if there's any legality, like actual legality, going to be taken If he's that talented of an engineer to land all those positions, you can just start training classes to get hired and make bank. Yeah, dude. Like honestly, why doesn't he take like the James Peralta approach, like our colleague here on YouTube, like of just doing interview prep videos, right? Like, if he's that cracked, he can make tons of money doing interview prep videos on YouTube, doing private calls.
This is New York, right?
Just all the companies.
Dude,
What was his viral
it's
cold email?
crazy that he's like, which city are you wondering about?
Yeah, I'm having a really hard time with him sectioning off companies and cities and not living in the United States. I'm just like trying to follow this whole logic of this.
Well, what he's saying is, so I was doing this for SF. Separately, I've got my NYC crew going on. Separately, possibly, you know, maybe he's got a Miami girl. Maybe he's got a Chicago girl.
Tim, this guy is the MLB player of side chicks for tech companies, tech startups. Tech startup side chick, MLB player. No matter what city, he's got a thing in it.
You know,
In
there's some
Austin,
X's
you
in
know?
Texas, like right, like this has.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So that's crazy because he was like, "Oh, you want me to list the ones in New York?" That's insane.
Oh, okay. Sync Labs, which is, you know, a YC startup. Lindy, which is, you know, more recent company that I worked at. BEM, DOS. Yeah, I mean, can't really remember. I mean, there are a few companies that I interviewed at, which are kind of coming in my mind, but I didn't.
Can't really remember the companies I worked at. Also, I must be passionate about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his excuse. That was his excuse about working for the companies originally, was that he was so passionate about the product that he wanted to be a part of it, no matter if he was already on another passion project. But he can't even remember all the names.
And I worked there
Okay.
for an average for a year, and he named like 4 companies. Worked at 20. Like none of this actually makes any sense. Like I'm not even sure how many companies actually. Okay, what if he's not been doing this that long? What happens if this is like one of his first rounds and he's getting caught right away?
No, because people are saying like multiple years ago they hired him.
Okay.
I mean, they could
Yeah,
be
that's
lying
like-
too. You know, it's the internet, but like, as far as we can tell, they've gone. Also, it's a dumb thing on the founder side to lie about this because, like, hey, I got tricked and looked like an idiot and lost 100K, which is not like I'm not saying they should feel that way. This guy's clearly very good at this. Like, I feel bad for all the founders because you're kind of taking people a
He's a
little
good
bit at face
scammer.
value.
Yeah, you have to.
Soham clearly has technical skills and clearly is good at interviewing. Even just from this, you can tell he's a killer interviewer, right? So it's like, yeah, you got duped by one of the best in the game at this, maybe. No shame in that, right? If I go play 3-point contest against Steph Curry, sweet. Doesn't matter how long I'm getting prepped and trained for that. I'm
Steph
coming up
Curry
with
of
the
tech
L
interviews.
in that, right? So that's so, you know, but it's like he is clearly lying.
BEM, DOS. Can't really remember. I mean, there are a few companies that I interviewed at, which are kind of coming in my mind, but I didn't work there. Yeah, I mean, Synthesia, Command Bar, these were like early 2022.
2022, he's confirming it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, these are the only ones that kind of like come to my mind immediately. I'm sure there were more, but
Got it.
Co-create, I think, was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood. 25 is a lot. So I guess one thing I'll say here, Soham, is like
25.
when you were onboarded, I
Backhand.
thought you were a pretty great engineer, and I enjoyed working with you. It was unfortunate that you know, frankly, I think you were playing us like you were playing a lot of other folks, but at the same time, like you're clearly very talented, and if you can do this kind of thing really well, I'm sure you could do a lot of other things really well, including getting, you know, a software job or building a company or something like this. I know one of the things you mentioned to me that you've been wanting to do is you use this distribution that you're getting to potentially, you know, bootstrap up a company or something like this. Do you have any plans like that?
I've thought about it. I mean, right now, like,
He's
all my
gonna take
focus
this
is essentially, like,
this
Darwin,
buzz and go build a
and
company
making
with it.
successful. I have thought about, like, you know, building a project or two that can essentially like scale on about this, but
So I have to think that he is saying Darwin over and over again because he's actually he's coping with the fact that he knows he's been caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and now all these companies are leaving him, and so he is like doing this over the top Darwin praising because he just Darwin awarded himself and effectively committed out of all of these different jobs, and so now he's just like hyper attached to this, just saying all these really positive things because he really has. I mean, this is grenaded things for the guy, and so I can imagine
Right, AJ?
that's why he keeps saying it over and over again, and just keep coming back to that in this really like unusually positive light, right? Like I guess if I was airing out my dirty laundry about all the things I've done wrong, quote unquote, all the things I've done wrong, I wouldn't bring in my employer or my current employer that's taking the risk positively, repetitively, right? Like there's something about it that just,
Yeah,
something's
quiet hire of this guy and be like, yo, you're gonna work. We're gonna like set up a webcam from behind you and watch your screen all day, so we know you're working on our code base. Could be sick, because if this guy's focusing on your code base, it sounds like it would be good.
Really sure what I can build, which, like to your point, I would like to believe that, I am capable of building a lot of things and stuff.
If we got to that point, but yep. Okay. Do you have any questions for me? Just like as somebody who hired you, onboarded you, and then had to offboard you?
He's a terrible interviewer. You're always supposed to come prepared with questions. Come on, Soham. I thought you were the best, dude.
Where's the wow factor?
There's the wow factor.
I can't even imagine what a good question would be for this situation, though.
I know. I tried to play one in my head. It's just like, you can't be like, so work-life balance, right? Am I right?
Well, the problem is for Soham, he has work-life balance.
Can't really relate to that one.
Again, like I cannot control what narrative people believe and what they don't. Obviously, for me there is a lot of reflection in general and kind of thinking about how I want to one digest what's already going on. And obviously there's a lot of false narratives. There's a lot of negativity going around as well. But yeah, I mean, I hope this passes. But yeah, I don't have anything off my head.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of cover those parts on the technical side that I think I definitely didn't hear when you last talked. And yeah, man, I wish you well, and I wish you a future of frankly just lying less to people. It's very stressful to have to juggle a bunch of lies.
It's true.
Dang, great advice.
Yeah. You can call it lying, I guess, but I think it just depends. I cannot control what narrative people believe in. But...
What?
Oh, he doesn't believe it. He's lying.
Well, I mean, we have
not
pictures
telling
of him
all of the truth.
emotionally manipulating people. So minimally, there is lying and
No, he lied about it's not a family emergency that took him back
yeah.
to India. Like, it was not that someone got sick and he had to go fly from SF where he said he lived and could be in person. That is...
Yeah, he
That's
did
a
get
lie.
in-person places in which he got fired from multiple times for being incapable of
this
showing
is
up in person
insane.
because he lied. Minimally, there is a lie.
And
We're gonna
dude,
build
to
some
do
code
this
app, write some code after
to
this.
a guy.
So stay with me, guys.
It's just like this
We're gonna
guy
do a
really
web
took a
scraper.
bet on you already. Like, you're not just talking to a random reporter or something. Like, you're not talking to some dumb CNN person. Like, this dude literally put part of his life on the line for you, and you're like, I wouldn't really call it lying. I can't
Yo,
control the
Tim,
narrative.
George Santos?
Dude, come on.
Also to be, to bring this back to the old philosopher Dante, this would actually be in the ninth circle. Like, he considered this the single worst offense you could do to mankind, which is to defraud your benefactor, someone who is being, in some sense, kind to you, bringing you on, getting you a job, getting you medical insurance, getting you the whole 9 yards, setting you up, taking a risk on you, and then you to
AJ.
defraud them is, that's where you go to the ice lake. Like, that's where you go to the worst spot in hell.
Yeah, it's crazy that dude's last name was Inferno. He's like born to write a book about hell.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's crazy that Dante's last name was.
Easy, dude. These are.
Okay, so he says, you gotta tell Cursor to be Uncle Bob, and can you start vibing? Saying I got 20 interns to the same vibe, telling a natty they on roids. he's like taking this as praise, like he was this 10x engineer that did all this stuff for these companies. AI stands for actually Indian guy named Sohan. Now that someone's blacklisted, whoever hires will get would be fearful, etc. Imagine explaining this tweet to someone who's not ironically online. You can't be pro-Cluely and anti-show on Pickle Lane. Oh, VC's realizing 12 of their portfolio companies have founders named Sohan. This is killing me, bro. This is so funny. I haven't laughed this much at computer science stuff ever. This stuff is so funny. This shot of is this Peter Tillman? Bro is juiced out. He does not look well. It's got to be on something. That 1,000-yard stare is crazy. Wait, can we zoom in here? Oh no, we can't. Oh, that 1,000-yard stare is so crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. I'm dead. It's so on apply to your startup. You're excited that the Mavs signed. So here you go, Tim. Mark Cuban, really excited the Mavs signed Soham Park. He was one of the under the radar. Did Mark Cuban really tweet this?
This is also
No way.
As an engineer, that's actually pretty funny.
There's some town in India that just had its GDP significantly lower because 22 companies just fired so. Oh my gosh, the GDP of India just got decimated. That is so funny.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Soham. If Soham didn't apply to your startup, you're not going to make it. That's actually really good. That's a good.
We got to go check our
No way
application
Mark
inbox
Cuban
right now,
tweeted
Prime.
that.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
terminal's dead.
It is crazy that Mark Cuban is actually farming this situation. Really excited for the Mavs. Just signed Soham. He was kind of under the radar, but I think he's going to do big things starting in the summer league.
This is also how you knew, like, okay, the meme is broken out and halfway through
You are so an expert AI coder builder.
and start working on another person's prompt. Like, bro, you gotta tell it if you're saying you're a Soham from Soham's X.
Okay, so what should he do next? Let's finish this up. Then we'll start coding.
Yeah. So this is
Site to announce the company have exclusively joined is Darwin Studios. The team has assembled it as absolutely cracked. They stood by me since this story broke yesterday. We're building Wave, the next UGC platform centered around AI video remixing.
where things get complicated, Prime.
All right. So
It appears all mention of Darwin has been deleted from Soham's X.com, the everything application feed.
so Darwin did in fact not make it.
Yeah.
Oof.
So what can he do to fix it, Prime? We've got a few options from the community that maybe Soham could start with.
Obviously, first one is Soham. If you're
If you're reading this, you have one chance to fix it all.
reading this, you have one chance to fix it all. Reach out to TBPN right now to interview, and then list every company you're currently working for, and then run a March Madness bracket talking through which company is better than which other company until you have a final winner. Offer yourself full-time, heart and soul to the winner.
Just
It's-
March Madness it out.
Dude, this seems so good because, I mean, if he's telling the truth, it's a Final Four, but somehow I think we're in the Great Eight for him. I think
Yeah.
like, this would
Also,
be great.
it's like, dude, if this is like the
Yeah,
answer
that's
time for my
nuts.
bride, and he
Imagine like going to school though for like coding all throughout high school, going to college, coding, learning, just to get to this point, and it's gone.
He says,
Right.
I too am not left-handed. And then
nice. That's a
that
lead.
unfortunately, Soham, it's gonna take a miracle. Sorry. All right, Soham needs to start an interview prep company. He's clearly
Yeah.
one of the great. Yeah, I am on this team of all
Yeah,
time.
that's
He
the
could
only thing
actually
you
do a
should
great
do.
job if he truly wanted the work. I think he could definitely do this for years, charging. I don't even know how much
A
you
lot
could
of money.
charge. A lot of money.
Like think about like Jordan Belfort. Like people pay scammers like for their they obviously were scamming because they're smart people. Like scammers aren't idiots. Like they definitely have smart attributes in terms of sales or human psyche or marketing or whatever, right? So there clearly is value.
Of money. You could come in and do
This
talks
guy is
and
the
get
this
groups
guy's the
of
wolf
people
of
to come together and do interview
wolf
practice.
of Silicon Street, the wolf of Silicon Valley.
Man, you could kill this.
Yeah,
The
and it
wolf
would
of,
legitimately be.
it's the what's a street? The Wolf of Hacker Way. The Wolf of One Meta Hacker Way.
be a good service for people because like we said before, interviewing is a skill. You got to learn how to do it. You got to practice. You got to find out what are the ways that you're falling short in the interview. Where are you making employers not want to hire you? Like, it is something you can literally just get better at, and he's clearly one of the best in the game.
Yeah, I am shocked he's not doing that. After taking some time, after talking to some people who have interviewed him and interviewing him myself, I'm convinced Soham would be a generational programmer talent if he would just take one job and work it diligently.
Yeah, the problem is, dude, I don't know how you can trust him to do it now. That is one of the big shames of it. Yeah.
Yeah. He actually has to start his own company. It
Startup
has
leaders hate
to be
this
something
one-trick
like that.
watch mojo.
If Soham actually started a company / started his own company, he'd be
You
much
guys are
richer
good
now.
with
My favorite
memes.
quote: "If the crooks only knew how much money they could get by make by being honest, they'd all behave differently." Yeah, you just have to be crooked on Wall Street. Got him.
That's a separate game. Yeah, that's a separate game.
Soham, if you are listening to this, I know.
That's a separate
That's so
game.
funny.
Yeah, that's a separate game.
This Daniel guy is tweeting out fire. All right. That was a funny little reaction. If you guys like the reaction segment, leave a like on the stream right now. Smash a like. Smash a like. I don't really do like watch reaction stuff to just regular videos kind of like this if it isn't like a lecture or something. So if you guys want to see more of this kind of more hangout, casual reaction to kind of some programming, funnies and news and memes, it's kind of funny. Let's go ahead and get into the programming though for today. I want to try to do maybe like an hour or so of programming and see if we can get at least like a script up regarding this project. So let's talk about it. Oh, my kitty turned on my amp. Do fire ship and more primogen reactions? Yeah, we'll have to do more of those for sure. That was fun. Okay, so I want to get into today, right? So today is about starting a new project, and I want to kind of brainstorm. We might not get like a lot done actually physically, but it'll be a good. We need to kind of talk about what I want to do here. So. Let's actually open up a new directory, and let's do this in Markdown. I think it'll maybe be easier so we can get record of it. So let's do this. Let's see what we got. Hey James, started CS50P and finished lecture 0 and we watched the shorts. And we'll watch the shorts and plus start problems tomorrow. Also going through Python crash course. Awesome, dude. Yeah. I started, dude, I got to go back through and record some more Python crash course try it yourself videos. I've been going back through the book and uploading those for you guys. That's kind of like little kind of behind the scenes videos or like just problem breakdowns. But I recorded 2 of the chapter 5 ones to start getting into chapter 5 for you guys. But my videos corrupted, so I lost them. So it really demotivated me, honestly. I spent like an hour recording 2 problems for you guys. And my video corrupted, so I was like, oh, come on. But I'll redo it, and I'll do it for you guys. Yeah, that's awesome, James. What do you want to learn Python for? Okay, let's get into today. So I'm going to open up let's go here. Let's open up a new terminal. Let's go cd into repos. Let's go make dir. We're going to make dir birdie rows close. Right. Okay, we're going to cd into birdie rows close. Oop. And then we're going to code here. Okay, let's go ahead and get this set up. Let's go ahead and open up. I'm going to make a directory. Actually, let's go here and let's set this up on Git. So let's get in it. Python 3 dash -v. No. Oh, it's Python 3-M. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we will go source bin or venv slash bin slash activate. There we go. We are in our virtual environment here. Now let me go ahead and let me do git. Let me go touch git ignore. Let me add on here. How do you do it? Is it like that, or is it? Oh, I forgot. Git ignore venv. Come on. What the heck? Okay, we're just trolling now. What? Okay, what's going on? Come on. What are we doing? What's going on? Okay. We'll go here and go over it. Okay. And then let me throw on here PyCache. Oh, no. PyCache. How do you... Okay. So now let me go get in it. First commit add. Cool. All right, so now we have that. We have a virtual environment set up. We have a git ignore set up. So it'll ignore the virtual environment and import any PyCache files that are created for our compiler, right? And then we need, let's open up a new folder. I'm gonna call this server. And I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call this client. And then I'm gonna create a new folder here. Well, would venv go in root dir or server subdir? venv is the project root, most common venv server client with the requirements inside. Okay, cool. And then we'll go touch requirements, or we can do pip freeze. Maybe not. So maybe we should put the virtual environment within the server, right? And then maybe should we put the virtual environment inside the server, or should we leave it outside in the root? Sorry, let me get caught up on chat here. Very dense video, but I took breaks throughout. It feels like the more formal than Crash Course, but I like both. Is your mascot Big Bird? Big Bird. Big Bird. What? I was also thinking about recording some stuff regarding CS fundamentals and like design stuff. I got the idea of writing the Nice, dude. Properly set up my terminal. Yeah, I don't remember really working. I don't really know how. I just kind of do the basics. Mostly starting with Python because it seems like I can use it to build usable things pretty quickly, opposed to a language like C++. I think I switched to NeoVim, by the way. A project I'm hoping to make after I get some experience is an offline flashcard tool. That sounds awesome. Hit me up on Discord if you want any help with setup. I've been using it for 3 years now and have a pretty good understanding of what plugins and whatnot. Um, pretty solid set of line. I use small toy projects. I'm wondering if Python's the best resource opposed to JavaScript to build projects and easily show off on the web. It seems better than Tkinter. Yeah, that's kind of like the toss up, right? I did about half the Odin project up in just the HTML and CSS portion to kind of get me up to that speed. But I still need to go through kind of like a more formal JavaScript course because I'm pretty bad at it. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to add in, let's go touch. We don't need a pip freeze here, we'll go touch. We'll touch dev.md, and then we'll touch readme.md. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk. Hello, Daily. Welcome back, my friend. Let's go ahead and talk about our project here. So if you guys aren't familiar, we kind of mentioned it earlier at the beginning of the stream, is we're kind of starting to into a new project here for my small business that I own with my girlfriend, right? I'm currently the chief technical officer of it, I guess you could say. And my girlfriend is the CEO, right? So it is a vintage rehoming company where we find and rehome vintage clothing for a very good price. Our business model is mainly about just rehoming rather than reselling. We're not trying to flip any mass profits with large margins. Yes, margins are awesome for a business, but for this model, we think we could be much more sustainable for a future outlook by providing, and also like an environmental resource as well as, proper customer interaction with, fair pricing. We're not going to be like some of these Depop sellers or these vintage resale stores that charge, upwards of like $60 for a t-shirt with a stain and a hole in it just because it was from the 80s. Yeah, it might be a cool t-shirt or whatnot, but you still got to think of things gotta be realistic, guys. Like, we're not scamming any here. I'm a very honest, very genuine guy when it comes to like providing content and monetary and money things like that. So I'm very fair, and so I want to make sure our customers are getting these vintage clothing items and feeling good and supporting the environment, and also feeling more confident about themselves and their daily and what they're wearing, but also not worrying about having to make rent if they buy this t-shirt or not, which is it was mainly our goal here. So what we like to do is find items that we can obviously flip, but we can flip for a decent margin that isn't enough to cause strain or anguish on our customers, where it's fair, where everything is fair and whatnot. So like, if you guys, there's nothing more frustrating than seeing like a t-shirt you want that's from like the 90s or whatever, and it's like $100. It's like, what the heck? Like, come on. Like, I'd spend like maybe like $25, $30 on it. Like come on. So that's kind of like our business model. So what I wanted to do here is, let's currently go over, I know we got the kitty behind us, she's staring out the window. Let's go over the model here. So 30 rows close. Let's go dev log here. Okay, so I want to say, so currently now I don't know what I'm doing here, you guys, so please bear with me and be patient as I'm trying to figure this all out. I'm not a business guy. I'm a scientist. I do have familiarity in business and finance just because I grew up around it with my dad being an accountant and running his own firm. But I do, I guess, have more knowledge than the average person, but less knowledge than a professional would regarding someone that actually could get this going. So we are going to have to learn a lot and probably make some mistakes, but that's okay. So let's just go over exactly what my vision is for the company as itself. Like, I do think that we could potentially turn this, company. We do sell physical product, but it is entirely online. So we could view this company as a kind of tech-based company, right? Where if all of our interactions with customers are online via through computers and API requests and automated shipping stuff, like we could have tons of different things or just whatever. So I kind of losing my train of thought here, but so let's go over exactly what we currently do, right? So what we currently do is that we source items via just through the local area. California is really nice about having good supplies of whatnot. Of course, we try to find things that meet our margins, which are meet our criteria of 90s, 80s, and mid 2000s, stuff that isn't too expensive on the initial price tag up front, so we can obviously provide a fair price to our clients and get some reoccurring business. Now, how do we currently make sales is the question, right? Well, what I think is pretty cool about our business right now is that we don't have to have any middleman right now, which is nice. Because when you start adding in middlemen or different types of third-party commerce sites or whatnot, you really start to rack up in increasing amounts of fees and whatnot. So I would like to avoid that as much as possible, right? So trying to do things custom, right? Building a site ourselves custom, right? Not using Squarespace or these other, it would be, a lot easier. We could easily whip up something in Squarespace or Shopify or whatever to, represent the business on a platform. But we as a small business that really isn't bringing in a lot of dough at the moment, it's just not super feasible because that's just a huge expense to ask at the moment. And then obviously it's just going to get more expensive. And then I don't want to be bottlenecked by a paywall behind our content, right? In terms of from an ownership standpoint. I want to be able to own our assets and update them and modify them as we think and as we see fit. So just to help reduce costs, maximize efficiencies, and also help us learn, right? Where this is also a learning process as well. The goal of this is not to create the next Facebook, where this is not going to be the next multi-million-dollar company overnight. This is just for fun, and whatever happens of it happens. But it is cool that we have this opportunity because this company does make money, right? It's not a crap ton of money. We only put in an honest number is probably less than 5 hours a week on terms of just posting, sourcing, and selling items. It's really tapered down as we've just become busier with the stream and with our personal careers. And but it's still able to bring in a couple $100 a month just off of that minimal effort. So imagine if we were able to scale it out with some real solid effort and some good software to potentially bring in more clients, ease the transaction process, provide better marketing, yada yada yada. So I'm thinking of how this gets data sent to the web and mobile clients. Yeah. So we'll probably, we can have different environments and whatnot. We have our main environment that will run things with the server side and the client side, but we're probably, and then we can move our scripts and stuff outside into a separate directory for a package that we can install a part of it, right? So, but I'll just build it here for now, and then we can move things outside, or maybe we'll build it outside and move it in. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Is there a company website? So that's what our goal is here. So my goal here is to develop a website. As the chief technical officer of this company, I do want to develop a site. But here's what's going to make this site a little bit unique is that I don't think we need to go down the road of making a site completely into an e-commerce site, right? We don't need that. There are already platforms out there that we are currently using to, do these transactions with minimal fees, automated shipping, and all that jazz. So what are we currently using? Well, how are we currently selling clothes? Let's get into that. So how we're currently selling clothes is that through our normal sourcing processes and whatnot, every so often, it used to be weekly, but we've really started to taper down. I'm going to set a strict schedule and really hold myself accountable to growing this business alongside you guys on stream as well. I think it can be very fun and pretty informative as well. So how we currently sell clothes is that it was every Friday we had set story sales. So on Instagram, we would release and drop new items, upwards of about 5 to 10 items, 5 to 15 items, and it was first come, first serve through our Instagram following, right? We have about 800, 900 followers on Instagram right now on Birdie Rose Clothes, and it's, but for those that are watching, it is primarily women's clothing at the moment, just because my girlfriend is the sourcer. We are trying to transition into more unisex kind of sourcing as well. I'm getting more involved in the sourcing to find more male related things, t-shirts, hats, things like that, to help bring in some more customers. But for right now, it is primarily women's clothing. But that also helps our case as well, because the large majority of shoppers in the world are female. So it's just statistically like the better kind of model at the moment to start with that as well. But men do love vintage stuff as well. That is true. Like Tim, everything I wear is pretty much vintage. Right? So men, yes, it is on the rise. Men's vintage fashion is extremely ramping up. That's why we're transitioning into more unisex, but we just started off with female. So, right, we have weekly story sales where we launch new content, new items that are initially on. That is the first time the item is exposed to our customers, right? So that's the first time an item is exposed to the customer. W outfit, just a Dodge t-shirt that I've been wearing all weekend. Stinks. Woo! Thanks, Daily. I appreciate you. I got my back. So that's the first time, right? That's the first time that an item, an inventory item, is exposed to a client, is through the Instagram story sale. We want to, because why do we do that? Well, it kind of helps build this hype. It helps build kind of this kind of human psychological factor of I need to buy now. This kind of it might sell, someone else might buy it. So it really helps to drive that that pressure to buy on that live instance, that drop. Now, of course, not everything sells. So what doesn't sell, then we recycle back into other platforms. So it starts off on Instagram, right? And we are able to do Instagram really well because we're also able to take transactions person to person with no middleman via the DM, right? So if someone claims an item, we can just take via Apple Pay or Venmo or PayPal or whatever it is from the client, person to person, one-to-one right there. So there is no fee associated unless it is with the platform we're using. And typically Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, if you're doing person to person, typically doesn't have fees. Now, if you're obviously, business to business, there are fees and things like that for business fees and whatnot. But person to person, you kind of have the ability to kind of tailor it that way. And then you just have to make sure you account for things tax-wise at the end of the year. So, now, once items are not sold, right? Once the story sale expires and those items are now available to the mass public, right? Not just the Instagram following, we would then take those items and put them on our Depop, right? So we would put the items on our Depop, and Depop, for if you guys don't know, is just kind of like an indie, kind of smaller. It's not a small platform, it's a larger platform, but small relative to other platforms. It's kind of made just specifically for vintage reselling, clothing, kind of like an Etsy, but just kind of clothing related, right? Small business. And so my idea and what I was kind of thinking is why would we try to take Now, the benefits of having everything in-house, like I said before, is that we don't have to pay fees. Sorry, I'll get back into the chats here in a second. I'm explaining some of our new project here. But Depop, the fees really aren't that bad. Like they're super honestly fair. Like on like a $10 or $15 sale, you maybe pay like a 20 or 30 cent fee. So it's really kind of, you know, understandable. It's fair. So I like Depop for that standpoint, and Depop has like auto shipping features. So like if you have a sale on Depop, like they will handle the shipping for you and provide you the label, rather than you having, if I do a sale on Instagram, I have to go and get that address from that person and go make a label with our you know, what we currently use, our supplier of Pirate Ship, for getting these labels. And then it's kind of interesting. Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. I read chat and then I lose my train of thought. Right, so I'm rambling a lot, but what my vision is that we have a site and we have a script, right? We have a site and a script that will parse or scrape our Depop for any updated items, and then automatically load those onto our website, right? And then if someone comes across our website and would like to purchase an item, we can just feed them to the Depop, right? We can just link them directly to, or if they like to purchase it, they can purchase it on the Depop. Yes, there are some limitations with this, meaning that they would have to create a Depop account and, you know, and whatnot, but this way we can also make it so that we don't have any user information on our end either. From the website standpoint, is we can just offload that all to the Depop and just have just the inventory up there, and then when things are sold, get that response back from the scrape and clear it out of our, you know, website. What do you guys think about that idea? So that's what I came up with this afternoon when I was talking with the Gibbity about ideas about how I could do this. And I was really trying to figure out a way of kind of limiting fees, limiting additional third-party softwares, but also utilizing what we currently like and use at the moment. And so if we can create a site where we can conglomerate all of our inventory to one page and then provide ease of access to other people, right, or ease of access just by linking to our, you know, where we're selling it actually on Depop or whatever, then, you know, we can do it that way. So what do you guys think about that? Let me catch up on some chats here while I wait for you guys' response regarding the idea here. And yes, I know I'm a biochemist, and I I do biochemistry every single day at my work. I'm a formulation chemist for a biotech company where I make and manufacture biological controls from scratch using kind of matrix analysis, you know, arrays, you know, theoretical concentrations and yields, projected analysis, and, you know, data analysis and whatnot, and then actual manufacturing and formulation in the lab physically. I do that every single day. So, but I do have a passion in, you know, business and accounting and some other finance, and so I do like to break up some of my projects and build kind of all over the place. Yeah, I know it would be fun to build some molecule modelers or whatever, but honestly, do molecule modelers pay the bills? Not really. So we currently have this small business that does bring in some money for us, and I think it does have an opportunity to expand and really grow if we were to provide some effort and some tools and resources into it. So I think I'm going to try it, and I think it could be fun. If you understand TCP, then think of that, but with strings and HTML output. I'm here to understand why a biochemist wants to learn programming. Thought I had to do something with biochemistry, data, and machine learning. Yeah, so we are learning machine learning as well on the channel. We're just taking in between. We are off and on the MIT. We're taking MIT 6.0002 course right now, live on the stream. We're on week 6. We're completing the problem set 2 right now. We have one last problem on the problem set 2 to complete. We're just taking a little break for today on it because I wanted to start up this new project. I'm here for that same reason. I'm a big tech developer. I'm intrigued by the use case. Hey, Bren, how's it going? Yeah, if you want to see some of my current sites that I've made regarding biochemistry, I've made chromaplot.com and I've made spectrosim.com. Those both can be linked on my website, michaeldeming.com. Just be aware that they are hosted on render.com, so that first initial response for the server spin up is pretty slow. But you can go ahead and simulate both chromatography and spectroscopy simulations on the web, on the sites. You absolutely need a website both for brand building and so it can be more accessible to Google search results. Clearly the next step there. Yeah, exactly. So Google search SEO, we need to get more interaction with, and by having a website that we can feed people into the Depop is key, because if you actually search for the brand on the web online and then search for Depop, the Depop profile actually doesn't even come up as one of the search results. Depop is not really heavily monitored or pressed or whatever utilized in the Google's search responses. So we definitely need a website to filter our traffic into the Depop is where we're selling, right? He has taught himself. I started going through Python programming advanced books. Hey, Michael, I've been into AI the past year. Have you dipped into AI? Your idea for the Depop and the site sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, so AI, we're getting into machine learning and AI at the end. The back half of the MIT 6.0002 course kind of does dip its feet into AI machine learning. And so after we complete that, I think I'm going to do 100 days of machine learning on Coursera or CourseX, or maybe do a Stanford machine learning course or something, because I know they have some open courseware stuff. Okay. So let's go features. So what's a feature we want to make, right? So we need, let's do this, goals. What's our goal for this site? So we want to build a website for Birdie Rose clothes, right? What's this website going to consist of? This website, what are some things this website needs? We need, it's going to be kind of like a lifestyle site with with links to Depop, with inventory that links to Depop site for purchases, right? So that's kind of like the general broad scope, right? A lifestyle slash brand site with inventory that links to Depop site for purchases. So what are some other goals that we have for this project? Okay, let's go like this, maybe say like, might be kind of overkill, but I really think it actually does help to keep like the dev process going and keep maybe it more streamlined of like, what is Birdie Rose clothes, right? We'll say Birdie Rose clothes is a vintage rehoming brand, vintage clothing brand that specializes in rehoming apparel, rehoming what's another word for vintage? A clothing brand. We'll say a clothing brand that specializes in rehoming vintage good pieces at an affordable price. Birdie Rose Clothes prides itself on sustainability through curated recycling of vintage clothing to prides itself on sustainability through custom curation and recycling of vintage clothing. Curation and recycling of vintage clothing. I was kind of starting out with the site for now, AJ, and then if we want to expand out into maybe an app, we could for there. But I have this other idea as well as kind of like an additional feature that we could add to the site that I think could be really cool to help, bring in customers or retain customers and we could transition this into an app as well, right? So just as you would for any typical swiping algorithm for dating or, finding things that you on a personal level like, I think that could really be cool to apply to a site like this, to where you had a page on the site that you could go to and that it would list out it would just randomly show items from our inventory, and then you could swipe left or right on that item to save it as like a liked item or a discarded or a not liked item or whatever. And you could, if we had an algorithm that kind of tailored based on the user's likes, or just kind of saved the user's likes in their cookies and then showed those back to you about potential like pricings or whatnot, or showed like your liked items or whatever, kind of like a game, almost like a Tinder game, but for choosing different stylings or different types of clothing. It's just for like, you could filter out, just swipe on shirts or swipe on pants or make it all random, right? I think could be really cool to help engage with the customer, because if the customer is physically swiping and choosing items through the inventory like a yes or no, then I think that just greater, like it's like with Apple, like they put their products at specific angles, so you have to interact with them, and that just increases the likelihood of you buying. Not sure what you're doing for everything, but sounds like from when I joined you'll need Python with Flask, HTML, JS, JavaScript, React running through load balancer. Yeah. Yeah, we're probably going to use Fast API for this guy. That's what we've been using in the past for our full stack sites that we linked up with React. So we built SpectroSim already, which is a React, Tailwind, Python Fast API stack. And so I think we could use something similar. I was researching into potentially just doing Next.js to keep everything within one area, but I think with our web scraping using Beautiful Soup and other Python packages, we might want to keep our Python access to Python as well using Fast API, so we could write these custom parsers and whatnot for getting the information, because Depop doesn't currently support the ability or have any API for getting the information regarding our listings. That is something also I wanted to talk about as well, is that Depop, I was looking at their terms of service, and they don't actually deliberately allow for the collection of data and for scraping on their site. Now I kind of am justifying this because in the kind of the gray area that I read is that, and what other people are doing is, there's quite a lot of other GitHub repos that people have already done this for automating their shipping processings or whatnot. It's definitely not the first time someone's ever thought of this, but A lot of what people are doing for their scraping is kind of malicious and just harvesting data for their own purposing, for like getting like listing prices or averaging, trends and whatnot for like pricing models and stuff. What I would be using it for would be to feeding customers back into Depop, right? I think that we have an excuse potentially to do this. Now, we need to be smart and not overload with a bunch of requests to their servers, costing them a lot of money and whatnot. We need to be kind of wise about it. But I think that because we're not maliciously just harvesting data for our own purposes, we're actually feeding customers back into the site to make them money, I think could potentially be a workaround. So, anywho, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. What do you guys think along those lines? We still have those kind of ethical standpoints that we need to kind of talk about and figure out as well, right? We definitely need to consider those terms of service. We don't want to get our business banned from Depop as well. Hey, thanks so much for the good lucks and learning. If you guys are new here, I appreciate if you guys would subscribe. I stream around every single day, hopefully. I try to. Around 7 p.m. PST, where I build projects, learn, and teach myself programming live. You could use Python to send parse data to a full backend service. I don't know, man. I'm just anti-Python for making web service. Yeah. That's what I was kind of researching, was whether we should use Python or Next.js and Node.js for handling the backend requests and whatnot. But I'm just good at writing Python, so I can write kind of these scripts to parse things pretty quickly. And so, that's kind of like why I was still going with it. You go with what you know. I don't know. We can always learn more, though. Okay, so given what we have started here, so our goal here, right? We want to build a website for Birdie Rose Clothes. That's our goal number 1. This is a lifestyle brand site with inventory that links to Depop sites for purchases. We would want a feature, clothing swipe. Okay, so that's fine. So let's do goals. So we'll do 2 here is features, right? So what kind of features do we want on the site? So we need, right, obviously inventory, display page that syncs with current Depop listings. Customers will be routed to Depop to complete sales, right? Customers will be routed to Depop to complete sales, yada, yada, yada. If anybody else would like to potentially help out with this project and finds it interesting and something that they maybe would want to just for fun, contribute to, I am all ears. So let me know in my Discord link down below if you'd like to help out, and I can add you to a specific group, and we can work together on this. 2, 3, 4 devs can be better than 1 for sure, and I definitely think it could be a fun idea, especially if we start making money, right? You never know what could happen. So, okay, so inventory, display page that syncs with current Depop listings, right? I think a cool feature would be a clothing swipe algorithm. Right, so this would be a page where customers can swipe through our inventory right through the inventory liking pieces. We'll say liking and disliking pieces liked pieces are then grouped for quick purchase or access to listing. Right? Definitely need to be careful with TOS. Yeah. Awesome, Anon. Yeah, I'll take your help. For sure, your React experience will be useful for sure. So, liked pieces are then grouped for quick purchases or access to Depop listings. So this is going to be like similar to a dating app, right? But for matching clothing. And then I think another feature would be like an outfit simulator, right? Where customers, users can randomly or strategically piece together outfits using the, we'll say group together, using the pieces in inventory, right? So think of them like putting together a top, bottom, shoes, and a hat are together. Like if we have all of those available, into creating like an outfit, and you could visualize that all together, maybe it would be kind of cool. AJ wants to help. Nice, dude. We got everybody else trying to help out. Let's go. Interesting to see the swiping idea work. I have not much clue on Depop items to swipe. Should always be readily available to buy. Yeah, exactly. Go routines made so much sense when I was loading them. Then I learned about closures and I noped out instantly. Okay, cool. So inventory that syncs up with listening customers will be routed to Depop base. So what other features do you think would be useful for kind of this page, right? So I think those are pretty, like obviously just a inventory that takes you to the items is the big one, and then a cool game to swipe across the clothings, and then an outfit simulator to simulate all your outfits. I think we want to have like a blog, right? This will be for like both on-site and email subs that receive updates regarding sales or etc., right? We want to blog on the site. I think kind of like just like a lifestyle page, kind of like a magazine-esque would be kind of cool to just show off some more kind of like editorial style, kind of photos or kind of branding, like a gallery / editorial lifestyle page. Right, this kind of just kind of a cool artsy page to capture brand image and highlight seasonal shoots or new content, right? Hey, Hades. Thanks for coming in on Twitch. I appreciate you so much for being here. You're awesome, my guy. Feel free to follow along here. All right, what other features do you think would be useful for a site like this, you guys? Anybody have any ideas? Hey, Hades got the follow. Thanks for following, my guy. All right, what else do you think would be useful for features? Or is these 5 features a good start here? What do you guys think? I'll wait for some chats here. Okay, so let's go ahead and feed this into the almighty orb and get some feedback. So oftentimes what I do on my channel is we do use AI to help us learn, right? It's a great tool to get some feedback, or like, as if you were getting feedback from your peers in college or a TA. We don't ever have it show us code or write code for us, but we do get feedback regarding like structure, how to set things up, how to learn, things like this would be good, like giving it this and saying, this is kind of what our ideas and structure. Do you have any other points of interest or potential areas you might think would be helpful, just to get some more perspective and whatnot. Obviously, we try things and do things ourselves at start, and then we can go get feedback from other resources or peers from there. So you gotta be disciplined to do things the right way at the start, and then if you want to use AI, go ahead and use AI. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's say, hello, I am going to be pasting in a small business mock-up that I have put together in about 20 minutes regarding my vision for the Birdie Rose Close website that we had talked about earlier, period. I kind of just did a rough outline regarding what is Birdie Rose Close and what are some of my goals for this project and some features I would like to include in this project. Could you kind of revise this business plan or this dev plan into something more formal and state of the art or more modern that you would see, actual startups or tech companies use to guide them throughout this process? I'm trying to learn and do my best to learn all I can through this, so please help guide me. Don't just do it for me. Let's work through this together and go step by step if there's anything you see that I should add as well. That's a good prompt. That is a good prompt. Let's throw that in here. All right. Love the foundation you've laid. This is solid start and already has key elements a modern startup would want to include. Look at us, startup boys. Hey, startup boys. Here's how we can refine and expand our dev/business plan step by step with modern best practice startups use. I'll add some suggestions and ask questions for you to consider as we go. That way it's a learning process and we build together. So Birdie Rose Close, refine dev and business plan. Executive summary/vision statement. Concise overview to keep focus aligned. Birdie Rose Close is a sustainable vintage clothing brand committed to curating high quality, affordable vintage apparel. Our mission is to extend the life cycle of fashion pieces by blending sustainability with modern e-commerce technology, creating a seamless and engaging shopping experience that drives traffic to our existing Depop marketplace. That is a solid statement. Okay, I like that a lot. Core goals. Build a lifestyle website that showcases our brand identity and inventory. Seamlessly sync inventory with Depop listings to maintain consistent sales channels. Enhance user engagement through innovative features like spike-based shopping and outfit simulation. Establish a community and lifestyle brand loyalty via content marketing and email updates. Create a scalable platform for future expansion into additional vintage sub-brands and product lines. Wow, this is really good. Okay, features. Is this considered vibe coding, or is this pre-vibe code? We don't vibe code on the channel, but is it inevitable nowadays to get into it? Is vibe coding just taking code from the AI? Is this vibe learning? Vibe drafting? Features of user experience. Internal display and sync. Real-time or near real-time sync from Depop API or periodic data polls. Responsive grid or list views, which with rich item details, direct links to Depop for purchase, search and filter for category, area, size, and prices, styles, and tags. Swipe shopping algorithm. 3.2. Intuitive swipe interface, desktop and mobile friendly. Store user preferences securely within user accounts or local storage. Build personalized light collections for easy checkout or Depop browsing. Optional machine learning recommendation layer later for style matching. Ooh, we could put in some machine learning in this bad boy, eh? All right, outfit simulator is 3.3. Drag and drop outfit builder using current inventory pieces, random outfit generated styles with style filters. Save, share, purchase entire outfits via Depop links. That'll be a cool feature. This is something I'm really excited about. Content hub, SEO optimized blog with storytelling, style tips, brand news, integration with email marketing tools, MailChimp, ConvertKit for subscriber management or campaigns, automated emails for sales, new arrivals, and personalized recommendations. Gallery editorial, high quality visuals to communicate brand ethos and aesthetics. Seasonal lookbooks, influencer collaborations, user generated content. Technical considerations. Front end, React with Tailwind CSS for fast, modern, responsive UI. Back end, lightweight API service for inventory syncing and user data, fast API or Node.js. Data storage, use a database, PostgreSQL or Firebase to cache Depop inventory data for performance. Deployment, use for sale, front end, and or Railway for back end for scalability. Integrate Google Analytics or similar for traffic and user behavior tracking. Oh boy, this could get really cool, really fast. Business and growth strategy. Leverage Depop's existing customer base as primary sales channel with building brand recognition. Use social media marketing aligned with editorial content for organic growth. Experiment with influencer partnerships and collaborations. Plan future. Gotcha. Next steps, roadmap. Example. Week 1, finalize branding. Week 3 through 4, develop inventory syncing. Week 3 through 5 through 6. All right. I like this plan a lot. That's really good. That's a good revision on what we have right now. So let's take this and let's throw this in here. Cool. Nice. I like that a lot. Okay, well, we can go through and kind of clean this up a little bit. We want to make these bullet points rather, right? All right. Should I just ask it to make it for us? Whatever. I feel like that's too much cheating. That's too much cheating. We got to keep it somewhat original. I've always been trying to balance that line between, like, it's not like cheating, but like cheating yourself, right? It's like, you know, there's tools out here, modern tools that are supposed to make life easier, but you still kind of get that kind of guilt of like kind of cheating yourself. Like, I could have learned it myself and really understood what was going on, or even for simple things like this, just editing simple text, I kind of feel like I cheat a little bit if I use AI to make just simple edits and stuff. But maybe that's the purpose of AI, is to really just cut out all that boilerplate time and just focus on the quality of what's going on. But, you know, that boilerplate time is really where you actually kind of learn a lot of the technical stuff too, which is helpful for a lot of things. So what do you guys think along those lines? Let me know your opinion. You guys are really smart when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I want to know what you guys have to say about it too. We're almost there. Let's go like this really fast. social media, experiment, and plan. Right, and then week 1. And questions to think about. Okay. Late binding is such a pain to deal with, though I get that there are workarounds, but I hate that ES6, C#, and Rust are the only ones that fix the issue somewhat, all of which I don't. F with, when did you start learning your programming? Hey, Hades. My friend is live. I have a fantastic rest of the stream. Catch you soon. See you, dude. I'd say AI assisted coding, vibe coding is simply, yo, ChatGPT fix this error, no mistakes, please, thanks. This is the stack used by high money burn startups. Ideas are online, particularly the MVP, minimum viable product out of the door in a maintainable and expandable way. My usage of AI has been heavily towards architecture discussions rather than code. Claude saved my job multiple occasions. I feel like there's a shortcut in VS Code to add the same thing to multiple lines. Yeah, probably. If I use AI too much for the easy stuff, I get lazy and undisciplined. Yeah, it's a quick slippery slope for sure. That's my experience too. Is it's so easy to just start to crutch it, right? Okay, so let's go. And then we'll say add markdown files. We'll say add. Let me rename this actually. brc.mp. Add 30 rows, close dev. I don't have a push. So let me go ahead and go to GitHub. Let's go ahead and create a new repo. New repo. Birdie. Birdie rows close. All right, now we should be synced up on GitHub. Sweet. All right, and then that should give us graph points, I believe, right? Yes, August 10th, we got graph points here. Oh, such a crappy August for me. I've been lazy, boys. Oh, such a bad July. Such a gap. Look at this gap in July. Oh, I did so good April through June. I did so good. Hey, 110 followers on GitHub. Thank you guys so much for cracking 110 on GitHub. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the love on here. You guys are awesome. What's my most starred repo on here? Wackathon Stalker's got 5. 7 for Fluent Python Notes. 3 forks on my Small Business Manager. 5 stars on my Task Tracker. So he has 50 resources. 5 stars. Thank you guys. All right, now we got that synced up to the hub. Pause. AI has been so beneficial for startups to ship their products fast, and that's the only reason so much AI-powered slop. My fridge does not need an AI. LMAO. Stop. It's Samsung. Mike, we need an AI counter on stream to track how many times we've said AI. Yeah, exactly. We could write a script to listen to our feed, our microphone feeding, and count AI. That could be a project we could write on stream one day. How would we do that? We would have to just take in a live feed from the microphone via like a stream and look for the... We'd have to like figure out the frequency of AI and what kind of what was it, like a bitmap would look like for those. I don't even know audio. Audio is like a whole different... I need to learn about audio stuff. You could probably one-shot this site with Claude because this is like a solved problem at this point. You shouldn't do this though, as you would actually own the code. Right. I go away, Michael gets lazy. Oh yeah, AJ. Yeah, you got to stay here, AJ. You were gone throughout the July. Maybe AI can build that for us. Yeah, right. No, dude. Have you guys honestly? We need a visual detection script for detecting how many AI billboards there are when you go into San Francisco. Oh my god, dude. I think my girlfriend and I, we were playing like a game. We were just like, it was like a game at this point of like counting how many AI billboards you got hit with when you cross over the bridge. Dude, it's, I think in less than 15 minutes of getting into the city, you probably see, I think 15 or 16 billboards, all of different AI products. It's so dystopian, it's crazy. It's really, really bizarre feeling. Yeah, isn't that kind of funny? Like, you could probably one-shot this site with Claude at this point because it's a solved problem, right? This business markup is pretty much like a giant prompt, right? Claude could probably write a site that could do some basics of all these features, but at that point, A, I wouldn't know anything that they're doing. B, I'm not even sure if I would really own it. At that point, Claude would kind of own it in their terms of service, right? Meaning that I wonder how that works. Like, if you build something with AI that turns out to be like super successful, what is like the red tape in the terms of service that you agree to when you use the AI? Are they allowed to like learn off of your product directly because it wrote the code? Like, can it learn off of your product? And then if you're shipping code live using AI, can it continually tap into your code base and learn off of your private product? Well, I mean, I'm putting this on GitHub, so it's already going to be learned from anyways, right? By models. Models are already going to take it off of GitHub and learn from it anyway. Have a buffer that can hold 1 second length and check if AI was spoken in each 1 second buffer, maybe something like that. Do you think AI is a bubble? Honestly, I don't know. I think it's a little bit too early to tell. I think a lot of people are a little bit too shooting the gun on what they're willing to call AI. I think we need to see what a little bit more time in market and what it interacts with and what people are actually able to do with it. And then we'll be able to tell if it's a bubble or not. But honestly, in my opinion, I'm kind of leaning. I could eat crap. Like, I could totally eat crap in a couple of years on a market crash. But I put my money where my mouth is. A lot of my money is in AI investments. I am betting pretty heavy on it in my own personal investment portfolios, just because of my own interactions on a daily basis. This entire year, I've used AI every single day for my own personal learning, and I've learned things that I would not have been able to teach myself in the amount of time without having AI. So I truly think that it's going to take over the education system, and probably, I think if you were, like artists and the creators are scared of AI, but I think people that should be really scared of AI are educators and teachers, because in my opinion, like elementary teachers, like elementary school, middle school, dude, it's really unfortunate, but I think they might be on the way out. Find out you can need to run a local AI modeling made for language detection. By own it, I mean really build it and understand what was built. Microsoft is already doing that for OpenAI, don't worry. Race to the bottom for pricing, dumping infinite money into making these models. Don't see any real monetization pathway since no one wants to charge by usage. It's a prisoner's dilemma. That is true, right? So people aren't charging for individual searches. The what is it? What kind of model is it? Is it free? It's some sort of play on the word free, something model, like a business model. It's like games that are like app store games that are free, but you have in-app purchases. Like it's free up until an extent. Like it's okay. No, but honestly, where I think the freemium, freemium. I think where the real play is, though, you guys, is not directly in AI, like in the companies building AI, but I think the real play in the money that be made. Now, this isn't anything new. I'm not like preaching. I'm preaching to the choir here, but I think the real money to be made for investors is in data centers. Yes. Oh, everybody knows about data centers already. Yeah. But for some reason, people just are still blind to the fact that, I think data is becoming the most valuable thing in the world. And we're going to have to store more and more of this data. And it's only going to get more and more larger and larger. So the only thing I'm currently ethically torn on with data centers is the environmental and impacts and social impacts that it has on some of these towns. Like, it's just really crazy. So I'm really kind of torn on like putting my money into these data centers and supporting these companies with stock purchases, when that is kind of like the inevitable flow of where things are going. But the cost of what it's doing and harming people in those areas is really bad, dude. Like the carbon monoxide emissions and the noise pollution, it's really bad in some of these places like Michigan and these East Coast places. What do you guys think about go ahead and vibe code something with Cloud API cost. You won't want to do it for very long. Interesting. I never thought about that, but makes sense. There's a lot of investment in it, but not a lot of monetization. I wonder how popular it'd be when comps charge for compute. Or this, right? Like, what if we get to a point where you are partnered with, like, I could see this, like, if you're writing code and building products that are becoming minimum viable products on the market and are getting funding, I could see like OpenAI or these AIs changing their terms of service to being where if you write code that is used in this product, you are technically like a partner with this company in terms of like your stack. And so you might have to like owe them a portion of revenues or something potentially to monetize and capitalize off of their product or whatnot. I don't know, because the freemium model seems pretty. We'll see how long it can last, but Yeah, that's true, AJ, right? It's hard to depict like a child and how they would perceive it and interact with stuff too. But I think it's very feasible to create models, right? They can probably create models that mimic almost one-to-one with what a middle school teacher is giving you, right? So I think online school is probably going to like ramp up in terms of industry, probably like 2 or 3x, like those online platforms for school that actually give you like accredited like high school diplomas. I was thinking this one day before all this AI stuff that how it would be if my calculator taught me data structures, and a year later I saw Connie selling clutter on YouTube Shorts. All right, cool. So what is our goal then for tomorrow? So tomorrow, I feel bad because we didn't actually write code, but we got the project set up here. We got kind of a dev plan synced up. We got some features that we want to build. And so now we can kind of start chipping away at some of these features and seeing where we can go from here. So I think, so let's just load up. Let me go Depop, Burger, D, Rose, Clothes. See, Birdie. All right. So this is the Birdie Rose Clothes shop for right now. We haven't really uploaded anything for quite a while as we've been pretty busy this summer with our stuff. Right? So it's just fairly basic stuff here. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to the thing is though is you'd have to like click on each one of these. Right? To expand it out to see more pictures. It's a cool shirt. Why am I selling this? I need to keep this for myself. Where is this? I gotta go find this in my inventory. Why am I selling this? This is sick as hell. Yo, ain't no way I'm selling this. I gotta go back and I gotta go back and pull this out of inventory. I'm keeping this one before Tim goes and takes it from me. What's this one? See, my girlfriend gets some stuff that I don't even know. This one's cool too. Okay, so we're gonna have to think about how we can scrape this, because that's our next goal here, is we need to scrape this and save the information into a database somewhere. So we need to physically click on listings, we need to save the images, and we need to pull out the information. So I'm thinking maybe what we could do is we could take the description and the title and we could hash them into a hash code and then use that smaller data stream to store and then reference the hash code on sale to clear it out. Okay. What do you guys think? How could we go about going through this page and extracting out all of the listings, right? So we could sort it by newly listed. This is sort recent. So we could take this request. If we click on this, what does this URL give us? This is give us Birdie Rose Clothes and then the listing title. No, it gives us the first couple of words of the description right here. Okay, so that's how they're doing the links, is that they're doing the first couple of words of the description as the, this is mid-wash. Yeah, mid-wash, low-rise 90s MIDI. I'd have to figure this out. I've never actually done something where I need to actually click on the item as well. Like the script is going to have to click on the item and then get out the info. Okay. I'm gonna have to think about this one. But tomorrow we'll come in and we'll write this script. Or at least we'll try to write something. What do you guys think? Any opinions? Any comments, concerns, questions? What do you guys think? Playwright, looks into that. Playwright scripts. Playwright. Powerful framework for writing scripts to automate web browsers. These scripts are used for various. Interact with elements, click buttons, fill forms, type text. Okay, so like a bot basically. So here's an example. You can just do from Playwright sync API import sync Playwright as P. So use the with constructor. Let me look up. trying to look up like a video.
Welcome to the Playwright Python Masterclass. Last year I created the Playwright Masterclass for the JavaScript testing library. It was based on the 1.3 version of Playwright. In the comments, Daddy Eddie asked me to create a Python Playwright Masterclass. This one's for you, Daddy Eddie. Subscribe to get feature updates on Playwright because it's constantly updating. I've tagged sections below if you want to skip ahead. I would suggest watching the whole video. There's a lot of tips throughout the whole video that will build on each other later. So what is Playwright? Playwright's a browser automation package with multiple language binding. You have Python, JavaScript, C#, and Java. Those are the main officially supported packages. There's also some other ones like Ruby that are unofficially supported, but still work. But today we're focusing on Python and all the Python features. All the bindings have a pretty similar parity, but the JavaScript is generally ahead. There's no guarantees when updates are coming through, but generally they come quick after a JavaScript package gets them. Playwright runs on Mac, Windows, and Linux. If you have any questions about Linux, look at the documentation for supported Linux distros. Playwright in general is written for browser automation. It's actually going to install the Playwright browsers. It runs at 1.98 seconds because it didn't have to redownload all this in multiple browsers. Here I've set browser's WebKit, headit, the inner text on an H1, and make sure it's equal to example domain. Click 15 seconds. Doing anything with the
Let's see if I can find something better here. Can you give me a breakdown of Playwright in Python and how I could use it to click on like listings and scrape the information there? Don't write any code, just kind of give me a brief overview. I need to clear over. Playwright works in Python, how you can use it for interacting with listings and scraping data. What is Playwright? Playwright is a modern browser automation library that lets you control Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit browsers pragmatically. It's similar to Selenium, but offers faster, more reliable, and easier APIs. Playwright supports Python. How Playwright works. Launches a real browser or runs in headless mode, no UI, allowing you to simulate user actions like clicking, typing, scrolling, and navigations. So we would probably run in headless mode. You interact with the web page via a page object presenting the tab/window. You find elements on the page with CSS selectors. You can click on the buttons or links, fill in the forms, and wait for elements to appear or more. So you can navigate to the listings page, open the page, locate the listing elements, interact with each listing. You can simulate a click to reveal hidden info. Automate clicks on next buttons. Okay. Cool. So that's a great suggestion. So we'll look into using Playwright for scraping our Depop site tomorrow. So we'll use Playwright to actually click on these links or click on these pages, extract out the images and the title, description, pricing, and size, and condition, and brand. This is brand, right? Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, you guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today and sticking by me for today's kind of more prep and preliminary stream for getting into a new project here. I'm super excited to launch this up and get going. I think it could be really successful and actually bring in quite a bit of increase the revenues of the company as a whole, and be just a cool learning experience to better provide like a more full stack knowledge about business relations and customer interactions and users and stuff. Your first contribution watching. Nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, you guys. Message me in the Discord. Please join the Discord link down below if you'd like to get access to an entire roadmap of my learning journey so far, every note and book resources I've taken and used so far to learn and teach myself programming. I've been building projects and reading and teaching myself to code for about a year now. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow around 7 p.m. PST to continue this project. I'm super excited and motivated to continue. I can feel my laziness kind of fading away as I have now a passion to a new spark in my life to now continue on. I just need to keep getting these ideas flowing, right? I just need to keep my spark alive and a passion on projects, because once I finish a project, I don't have another one going. I fade out pretty quick. But I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. I'll continue this on tomorrow, where we'll get our project really going and start building some scripts for actually scraping, and then we can build the front end. And yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and we might be able to get this done. My goal is hopefully like maybe a month or two. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being here today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Please message me and